A Destrian Network production. Every day I'm struggling.
What?
Not again. Not again. Oh no. You stupid little fuck.
Little dog.
No, you can't kill me in the door. The train's not going.
Hashtag I did try.
Every day I'm struggling.
You're listening to The Struggle is Wheel, the premier Wheel of Struggle fancast.
With your hosts, Mr. Mattington and Garlitz.
Wheel of Struggle.
I have literally no idea what we're going to do for this episode, so, if you have ideas, feel free.
Yeah, when it comes to something like Mega Bomberman, we have to remember that he is a man who is a bomber, not a bomber who is a man.
Yes.
That's a big distinctive difference.
Yep.
So you've got a bomber man and a man bomber, and they're completely separate.
And to be honest, I'm glad that we're not seeing the latter, I'm glad that it is a man who is bombing and not a bomber that's a man, because I feel like, I don't know, that would look messier and more disturbing. It's like one of those biblical angel things.
It's a tough one. I mean, which one do you go with? Either way, this week on The Struggler's Wheel, we're going to be talking about Mega Bomberman.
Hello everybody, I didn't know we'd started yet, but now that we have, full steam ahead, or should I say, full explosions ahead, because there are bombs ahead, folks. Yes, we're going to be talking today about Mega Bomberman. Fantastic Mega Drive. Okay, like we need to make a point of this today, Mr. Matt. Okay. Some people in the Wheel of Struggle, and they will remain nameless, but they're all American. They say JEANSesis, JEANSesis, like a book from the Bible, and
a band with Phil Collins.
Or a band with Phil Collins, exactly. And the problem is, you're going to get yourself confused. You're going to be talking to someone, you're going to be saying, oh yeah, I love that code on Aladdin that you tap in, it's Abacab. And they'll be like, what, the Genesis song? And you'll be like, no, the Genesis game. And they'll be like, but Abacab is a Genesis song. And before you know it, wars begin, horrific pain for 100 years. So it's just easier if you call it by not only the UK name for the console, but also the Japanese name, and therefore the de facto true name for the console, which is the Mega Drive. Mega Drive.
The Mega Drive, which of course ended up having the better box art as well.
There you go. I mean, we tend to have, on the whole, I would say, the better box art as well, but that's a completely different discussion for another day. Symphony of the Night.
The other thing is that Genesis was red in the United States, okay?
Yeah.
Whilst over here, Mega Drive was cool and blue, like its mascot, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Exactly. The branding was on point.
It's just a mess, okay? America, go back 30 years, sort it out, alright?
Oh, mate, I think they need to go back more than 30 years to solve their problems.
Right.
But to be fair, so do we.
We really do.
Like, hundreds of years.
Yeah, we won't get into the mistakes of nations throughout the world and throughout history, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here today to discuss Mega Bomberman as part of the Wheel of Struggle on this very edition of The Struggle is Wheel.
I was going to say, there is a segue there, because quite a lot of gunpowder was involved as we toured around the world, upsetting people. So, it's kind of fitting that we've returned to the idea of explosive devices, bombs and gunpowder and such, because it fits the theme, doesn't it? It fits the theme.
It does indeed. So, let's get straight into it. Garlips, what did you think of Mega Bomberman, aka Bomberman 94?
Yes, Bomberman 94, of course, started life on the TurboGrafx, I believe. Was it the TurboGrafx?
It was indeed.
And then made its way to the Mega Drive as a port, gaining a button in the process. So, apparently on the TurboGrafx you could you couldn't actually delineate between using remote control bombs and, you didn't have three buttons.
Yeah.
But on this version, I came into this having played this game extensively through my entire childhood. As I told on some of my streams, I recalled the story. I think Mega Bomberman to me is like, in my mind, is the prime example of pricing for your market. Because when Mega Bomberman came out, I don't know if it was immediately discounted or if it was, after it didn't sell well, they discounted it. But basically, I walked past, I think it was Dixon's window, and I saw Mega Bomberman for $19.99. Now, as a child of about 8 or 9, did not have a lot of money, and you're looking at a £40-50 game, and that's 90s money, okay? That's like double what it is now.
At least $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was walking around with a cool mill in my pocket. I was going to buy some Pokemon stickers, probably. Well, no, actually, this is a couple of years before that. I was going to buy some Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, Panini sticker book stickers. But, yeah, so when you're a child and you have very little funds, you kind of gravitate towards the budget-priced games because you get more games, more bang for your buck. So we saw it in the window. We saw it was $19.99. Never played a Bomberman game. No idea what this chipper little bastard on the front is doing, on top of a kangaroo no less. So we bought it, we took it home and loved it from that moment on. Pretty much, the only reason I stopped playing Mega Bomberman is because we got a PlayStation, so I played Bomberman on the PlayStation. And so I've always kind of like had my foot or dipped my toes into Bomberman throughout the years, but I think Mega Bomberman was where I first fell in love with this game style. So I've got a lot of experience with it, and I believe you do too, Mr. Man.
Yes, actually. I have fond memories of borrowing this off of one of my friends and playing it on the Mega Drive because we used to play multiplayer on there. We used to end up having a few people playing it. I had one of the multi-taps for the Mega Drive. To be fair, I don't know why, but I seem to pick up multi-taps for like a lot of the consoles that I had when I was a kid. I have no idea why. But I ended up playing a lot of random multiplayer games, and I really enjoyed playing Mega Bomberman. The story mode was just a lot of fun for me. I enjoyed the whimsy that was within the game. I enjoyed the bright, beautiful locations, the wonderful soundtrack. What I forgot about, over the course of however many years, 20, 25 years or something, whatever number it is, was how much slowdown there was in this game.
Oh boy, yeah, I'd managed to completely block that from my memory.
Yeah, I don't know how. Like, the later levels got really rough, and I was just like, I don't remember this being a problem when I was younger. And it's like, no, this is an absolute issue now because it's tough to gauge where you are and when you should move. And with that slowdown, it made it so painful.
Yeah, at points it became sort of turn-based almost. You're sat in your hole, you're waiting for one explosion to finish before you can start the next one, and like literally waiting for the sprite to disappear of the explosion trail so you can walk out and stuff. But yeah, surprisingly tactical.
One thing, like, I realised that a lot of people were playing it very differently. A lot of people were playing it very conservative, and some people were how can we describe it? Playing a little bit more anxiety-inducing.
Yes. In fact, we're going to use our new clip feature right now, Mr. Matt. I'm going to be, some bright spot behind the scenes at The Struggle Is Real decided that maybe we should put some clips in to, just zhuzh it up a bit. So, here's a clip of Mr. Matt right now, somewhere. It is anxiety-inducing. You were placing 3 bombs at once. You were placing a bomb where you were stood while you were waiting for an explosion of another bomb. It was, oh my goodness.
Why not? Why? You're wasting time otherwise. Like, you've got time to move.
That is true. However, the one thing I will say, and I'm not besmirching your playstyle. Your playstyle was fantastic to watch, and we as the viewers benefit. However, I will say you did lose time to silly deaths that wouldn't have happened if you weren't being so brave. Some would say foolhardy.
You got to go balls out sometimes, man. You got to go balls out.
That is true. That is true. And Mega Bomberman loves to get his balls out. He's consistently placing them on the ground and fucking up the environment around him. So, I was investigating for this game. I was doing a little bit of research behind the scenes about 10 minutes before we started recording, as I usually do. I've come up with a little theory because a lot of people were saying This game, by the way, was the introduction to Louis. This was their first kind of like appearance in the Bomberman franchise, I guess. Apparently there is lore. Apparently. So this is the Louis' first arrival in the franchise, and I have a theory because I was on the Bomberman wiki literally a second, and I clicked on it, and instead of saying Louis, right, the page for Louis is called Rui, R-O-O-I. So I have a little sneaky suspicion that during the translation, because there's that whole thing with Japanese where like L and R are sometimes synonymous or the same character. I think a Rui, as in a kangaroo, has become a Louis during the process of the early 90s, Japanese to English translation system. What's it called? Localizing.
Localization.
When it was localized. So, I mean, that's my current theory. Maybe I should submit it to the folks at the Bomberman Institute, get it appraised.
I think you should end up becoming a full investor in the Bomber Wiki, and you should just end up just showing your Bomber love all the time. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if next year you went to a comic book or video game convention dressed up as a Bomberman, or a Big Daddy as they're also known on the video game series BioShock, which of course is connected because BioShock 2's front cover has a Bomberman on it.
It does indeed, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
It's been ruined for me for about 20 years now.
What was it? There was another thing we were talking about, like, oh, that was it, yeah, so we were talking in your stream about how oddly prescient it was for a 1994 game to include references to the Minions from the Despicable Me series as well.
It's incredible.
There was another reference as well, but I can't remember.
There's references.
There was another enemy. Yeah, there was another enemy that looked like something like that. That's what I like about this game, and I'm glad you touched on it, is that this game has got oodles of character. I don't want to get tribal about it, although I did start this episode with a 10-minute rant about the Mega Drive. I have looked at Super Bomberman. The reason I bring up Super Bomberman is because actually that was what Markman initially submitted as his submission on this wheel. But the problem is, Octo also suggested Mega Bomberman. So we had a vote off in the council, and Mega Bomberman came out on top. We decided there should only be one Bomberman game.
There can be only one.
You're welcome. For anyone who didn't enjoy Bomberman, you're welcome. But I went back and I had a look at Super Bomberman. Oh my god. First of all, Super Bomberman doesn't have stages that move. They're all in a square, all in a grid, every single one of them.
Ooh.
Second, the art style is like this faux 3D thing that I just don't really vibe with. I understand if people like it, it's a matter of taste, as in they have bad taste because they like it. I prefer the Mega Drive. The sprite work has got oodles of character. I mean, every single boss, we've heard people like Quantum P1 bemoan and rage against the crab boss. Now, the crab boss was a pain in the ass, but I feel like the crab boss became a symbol of anger and because he had so much character in his face. He got those anime eyes with the down, and then when he loses his exoskeleton, I was looking for the word there. Once he loses his exoskeleton, it's kind of like boss becomes phase 2, and it's slightly different. He's on the back foot because you've destroyed his protection. I think the game has got oodles of character, and it's not just because there are dancing kangaroos in it, although that helps.
The pink Louis is best Louis. I do really love how there's so much creativity with the game. I do have a little bit of a problem that they front-loaded the creativity, like more of the gimmicks and more of the interesting things happen on the earlier stages, and then as you get through, that slowly disappears, which I'm slightly happy about considering the slowdown. But it is a little bit sad to end up going like, oh cool, we've got carts on this level, a volcano that is exploding, and then later it's just oh yeah, these penguins have missiles. So okay, cool.
And you can bomb an igloo roof as well, I guess. I see what you mean, and I agree, to be fair. I think as the levels get more complex and laggier, you don't want that stuff clogging up the screen. But I do understand. I do agree with you. I think it does trail off towards the end, especially the last few levels, which some would consider fairly kind of like cheap in how aggressive they are. You can start that level and immediately be fucked by something walking into you.
Oh yeah.
There's no there's quite a few levels, especially in Thrashing Tundra. There are like quite a few starts where there are no blocks between you and certain enemies, and so you could just be screwed.
They can just come straight at you and ruin you, especially the ones that end up going over blocks or through them, and it's just you've got no chance. It's a double-edged sword because you've got the RNG element at the start of every single stage where all the blocks can be anywhere. They can just be
it's true.
anywhere whatsoever. So can the enemies. I mean, the keys are a fixed point. They'll always be where they are. But the blocks, you can just end up having a really rough start. And it's tough to recover from that. Recovery is probably the most difficult part of this game. Like, if you die to a boss and have to end up continuing, you're better off going back to a previous world and getting your items, your core pickups, back up to a sufficient level again before you tackle the boss, because otherwise you're taking on a boss with no core upgrades, and it's painful. I mean, I did it on one of the bosses, but it's painful.
It's doable, but for your own sanity and well-being, it's not advised. I think it's worth explaining how the pickups and what have you work, because I don't think a lot of people... Well, some people did twig on, some people didn't. I can elucidate for you now that we can talk about the game and it's all out there. Every time you play Mega Bomberman, the pickups in a level are exactly the same. So if you got 2 explosive extenders, 2 bombs, and a Louis, it'll always be that same thing in the level. Now, their placement in the level can differ because obviously the blocks move around as well. However, the pickups, the core pickups, will remain the same. Now, I don't know if I still have my text file open. I don't think I do, but I basically wrote down while I was playing when I found things that actually helped. So yeah, I've shut it because I didn't need it anymore. For instance, level 3-4 was fucking amazing. Level 3-4 has got a recovery heart in it. It's got walk through soft blocks, which is basically allows you to walk through all of the blocks that you can destroy. Now, once you've got your recovery heart and you've got your walk through soft blocks, you can just rinse that level, picking up a new heart on average every, I don't know, minute, 2 minutes, and each heart equates to an extra hit, and you can stack those. Now, I don't know exactly how many you can stack, but Z told me that it's over 10. I thought maybe it caps at like 9 or 10. But then Z said apparently I kind of like over-farmed them. Like I went on a loop for about 20 minutes just consistently picking them up. So that was useful and that was helpful. I don't know, some people might not have even seen things like the recovery hearts because not everyone was destroying all the blocks in the level. They would just kind of like get to the keys efficiently, which is a play style. It's certainly a play style. Get to the keys, get to the shard, carry on, make quick progress. A lot of people were making very quick progress that way. But yeah, the problem is, then if you need to go back to a level, you don't know where the good pickups are. I believe you went back to level 1 because there was a Louis in there, which you wouldn't have been able to take with you anyway. Why can't you take Louis on a spaceship?
Yeah, it's weird. The reason why I kept going back to 1-1 is because it was the fastest one to just complete and get a sufficient amount of core pickups.
Yeah,
just
that's
quickly,
fair.
There is a difference between the 2 different types of pickups in this game. There are core pickups, which will remain after you die, and that's things such as your bombs and your flame extensions. And then you've got more interesting pickups, and that's things such as remote bombs, quick stack bombs, things like that. Pass through blocks, as Garlips was just talking about. Those will disappear after every death. So
I think kick as well, right?
Yeah, kick is another one that ends up disappearing. So all of those will disappear after every single death, whilst your core ones will remain.
That's really rough. I mean, first of all, if you don't know how the system works, you're currently in that system going, I had all this stuff and now it's gone. But even if you know how it works, you die once on that boss and you're like, shit. All of my shit is gone. Yeah. I mean, there are some power-ups that they must be in the game, but I didn't even get to. Because I know there's the power-up that you can use to whip bombs in a row. You can just like shoot out a whole bunch of them. And apparently fish use those to great effect. But I don't remember seeing that, so it might have been the case that I accidentally destroyed that pickup, or I just didn't even realise or notice in the heat of battle while I'm trying to kill umpteen things with bombs.
I kind of think that your theory about the pickups always being the same does work, but it's only for that session of the game.
That's interesting.
Like, it sets them when you start the game up. When you've got the game running, it will remain the same on each of those levels, but when you turn it off, reset, it will end up resetting those. It's a theory at the moment, but that would explain why you didn't see certain items and I didn't see certain items.
It's just a theory.
Well, it's only because I destroyed all the blocks on a lot of stages and I never saw remote bombs. And a few other strugglers didn't see things like remote bombs.
Well, I'm curious how it works because from a speedrunner perspective. So I've gone to the Mega Bomberman page. Let's have a look at guides. It says Area 1-2 has kick bomb, 2-4 has time bomb, remote control bomb, 3-4 has walk through wall upgrade. I mean, they're saying it like it's the same every time.
Yes, I can see that that's what they're saying, but...
Items per stage. Ooh, we've got a PDF. Hang on. Items per stage. This looks pretty definitive. Hang on, so where was the whip bombs? Hang on. Which one was whip bombs? It was the ones in a line, right?
Yep.
3-2, apparently.
3-2, but you...
3-2, 5-1.
But we went through all of these. And you never saw whip.
No, I didn't see whip. But I might have missed it. Like, you can... Say if you put 2 bombs down at once, and one goes off just before the other one and creates a power-up, and then the next one immediately destroys that power-up, you can actually end up destroying the power-up before you even see it, pretty much. Like, depending on the timing.
It's an interesting one. It's a...
I will say, this thing I just found, is exactly what I saw in 3-4, is the recovery heart and the walk-through soft blocks. By the way, also, there are stackable... Like, I talked about recovery hearts being stackable. You can also stack skates as well.
Yeah.
And more skates make you faster. I didn't even know that until, like, I was playing through it. And I spoke aloud to Z. I was like, Z, do you think getting multiples of these makes you faster? And Z was like, I cannot confirm nor deny. I was like, okay, I'm going to try and get some more. Because, yeah, the other level I had down was 2-1. And you can just rinse that for skates.
Fair play, fair play.
Interesting. I think sometimes in the heat of battle you miss it. Sometimes people accidentally bomb them as well. I'm definitely guilty of accidentally bombing them at times.
So, the results are out. How did you do at this, Garlips?
I managed to do fairly well. We will do the full table in a minute. I mean, there was the danger of a snipe. We've gone 2 weeks now, and we've had 2 snipes. First of all, it was Carl Caniglius who came in on Sonic 1 right last minute and sniped the whole thing. And then last week we had Kythius come in and snipe the whole thing. But this week the snipe didn't quite happen. I mean, Wugger did come in fairly-ish late, and so did Steven's Rocket compared to everyone else. But still, you know, there were plenty ahead of submission time. I came 4th. But that's spoilers for the table that we're now about to read out.
Wonderful. Let's get straight on to that wonderful table. At 25, we have Jace Invader.
At 24th place, we have Ashnarked.
At 23, we have Gekish.
And welcome in, Gekish. First submission on the wheel. Nice to see you.
Beautiful.
22nd, we have Adrian's Revenge.
At 21, we have Tater84.
And rounding out the top 20, we have False Zero.
At number 19, we have CKJ.
I wonder what it stands for. In 18th place, we have Carl Caniglius.
In 17th, we have Decky F.
That's our second bar. So currently this week, we have Carl Caniglius, CKJ, and False Zero between 2 bars.
Cheeky.
Very cheeky. Next up, we have 16th place, it's Quantum P1.
At 15th, we have Some Absolute Arsehole.
In 14th place, we have Hextree.
In 13th, we have the Mighty Storm Feather.
In 12th place, it's Known Loser, Kylorian.
At number 11, it's Nerdy Fiona.
And here we go, rounding out the top 10, we have Big Captain.
Coming in at number 9, we have Deodals.
In 8th place, it's Rafegal.
In number 7th, it's I'm D-Mac.
6th place, it's our beloved Wheel Daddy himself. It's Mr. Fish.
Ooh. At number 5, we have Fuchsia.
In 4th place, we have some cunt called Garlips.
And into the top 3, we have, at 3rd place, it's Steven's Rocket.
In 2nd place, close but no cigar, it's Wugger.
And coming in at 1st place, it's number 1, it's MBZ, or MBZ for those in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole Mega Drive JEANSesis argument for another day.
It is indeed.
Who could have foreseen that the Saturn Bomberman speedrunner NPC would do exceptionally well on Mega Bomberman.
It's
a shock.
It's almost like last season where the Dynamite Heady, where who would have guessed that the world record holder would end up coming first on it? I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it shakes you to your core because you're just not expecting it. It's a complete blindside. But well done, everybody. I do believe that might have been, if I recall correctly, that is the biggest submission so far for the wheel. 25 people.
Jesus. Imagine when that doubles up to 50.
We are going to take about 10 hours to read out the fucking thing.
No, we were going to fucking shortcut the shit out of that, okay? Right. So, Mega Bomberman, overall, I think we were both quite happy with it. You're happy, obviously, with your position. I could have done a bit better, but I think I'm happy with how I stuck to my gameplay, and I stuck to the way that I always play Bomberman, which is fast, loose, just slapping the bombs out everywhere, just laying them all on the ground.
Your balls were out on full display, your explosive balls, and they were incredible. Honestly, it was great to watch because people approach this in such a different way. You've got your kind of like timid and conservative players. I like to think that I'm one of those, and then we've got your absolute maniacs with sort of like pyro and shit blowing up all the time, like yourself. And I think it's really nice to see the full kind of gamut there. I think it works really well as a wheel game for that reason. And I'm not sure if I don't know if this was anyone's like very first Mega Bomberman experience. I think it must have been.
For a few, I imagine it would have been, because they weren't born yet.
Yeah, that's true. So they had the we had the pleasure of seeing the very first time that they when you put a bomb next to yourself and you're stuck and you fucked myself. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I've killed myself. We got to see that for the first time for so many people, and that was just exceptional. So well done, everybody. I think we can claim that we are all bombers of men. We are bomber men of some kind.
Well, I'm just glad that this mega phase is over and there's no other mega things that are going to be coming up. Nothing mega is going to be happening, okay? So, what is our next segment, Garlips? And do I need to get worried? Do I need to get scared? You're going to do it, aren't you?
You don't have to get scared, Mr. Matt. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's just poetry, mate. It's on the page. It's not going to leap out and attack you. You're going to be all right, okay? Just remember, deep breaths and, kind of like recite. Well, maybe don't recite a mantra because those are poetry, and that might just wind you up even further.
Go on, say it.
It's Kitty Babby Haiku Corner.
Fuck's sake.
Now, everybody who submitted we had so many people submit last week, and then we ritualistically and thoroughly humiliated them by talking down to them in a way. You were involved, you were there.
Mate, I was in a fucking limited capacity. You take fucking responsibility for this, Garlips.
Look, I might have been the person who Googled kiddie background, kiddie music, and slapped it all in there.
And now you're on a list.
That's on me. Yeah, and now I'm on a list. Funnily enough, because we took that approach last time, we have a lot less haikus this time.
You think?
So, do you know what? I'm gonna say this is like rugged, awesome, epic haiku section for epic people who aren't put off by the fact that maybe sometimes we might rinse the piss out of them. You know what? And that's a lesson to anyone who didn't submit a haiku this time. Although, having said that, it would be a lot easier to just copy-paste the last one, so maybe I'll just do that anyway.
Are you going to apologise to the people, Garlips?
No.
I knew you were going to do that. Right, what is our first submitted poem or haiku?
Well, we have a haiku from Markman. Now, I'm not sure what exactly... I mean, you are the king of the absurd haiku. I give it to you. You play quite playfully with surreality. You are the Salvador Dali, the Picasso of the haiku, if you don't mind me saying. Okay?
I do mind.
You're the David Lynch of the haiku world.
I've never been this insulted in my life.
Right, well, stay with me because it's going to get worse. So, Markman has written us a haiku that I think topples you. I think you are no longer the king of surreal haikus. So maybe that's a good thing, considering what you just said. Or maybe now you're offended because you're not the king anymore. I don't know.
Well, either way, squirt it at me, baby.
I'm going to squirt it at you, and I'm going to ask you to please try and piece... Like, I'm not sure what's going on here, so... Sonic the Hedgehog. What happened to Jar Jar Binks? Action 52.
So, what Mark Mann has done there is he's ended up comparing Sonic a Hedgehog with Jar Jar Binks and Action 52. In the form of a haiku, he's ended up connecting those three things and said that they are all as bad as each other. Whilst, and this is the bit you probably missed, doing it in the style of a haiku, which therefore is wrapping all of this together to make all of them bad. So a haiku is bad, Sonic a Hedgehog is bad, Action 52, and Jar Jar Binks. All of them together are bad in this, okay?
Okay, I think I understand, but I mean, Action 52 has got 52 games in it, Mr. Matt. I mean, how can 52... Like, you get 52 games in there. One of which being Cheetah Men, the exceptional and definitely not, original Do Not Steal of Turtles, but if it were cheetahs. You're telling me that that's bad?
Well, it's not come up just yet, but could be bad.
Thank God you stopped me, because I was about to do a Jar Jar Binks impression.
I'm glad we prevented that.
Yep, I'm thinking actually that would be a very bad idea.
3 cancellations in one day, Garlips. You can't fucking absorb that, okay? You can't survive it.
You know what? We're going to thank you very much, Markman, for the time. Thank you for your haiku. We will get back to you. We've got your number. We will call you. Take care. Safe bus trip home. Say hello to the missus for us. Moving on. We have 2 haikus.
There's
left.
fucking more of them.
There are fucking more of them, I'm afraid, yeah. But don't worry, you are 1/3 the way through. Much like a haiku that has 3 lines. Oh, my God, it rhymes. It's like poetry. Jar Jar Binks. These are both from Zed. One is Bomberman related, and one is from a game that we aren't talking about yet because it's next week. But we might read it anyway. Or maybe we should save it till next week. What do you think?
I think you should end up saying we're saving this one for the end of the episode.
We'll save it for the end of the episode. It'll have its own special section. I think Z will love that.
There you go.
Right. Okay, so here is the Bomberman related haiku. Enemies galore. My hearts will protect me though. Soundtrack is the bomb. Now, I think because, I think we got off on the wrong foot with NBZ and that whole hating Sonic thing. I mean, I think she is still insisting on this whole hate Sonic thing, which, we are going to have disagreements about. But I think we finally might have Z on side for once.
I don't know.
I think Z likes the game.
Don't know how long that's going to end up working, considering, you're trying to topple her spot on the overall table. I think she's going to end up hating some of the games that you like out of fucking spite now.
Well, I mean, this is super, super sneak peeky stuff for a couple of weeks from now on the Struggle is Wheel. But I just saw that Z submitted for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 this evening.
I watched that one.
I need to go back and... Well, I can't actually watch it yet because I can't have the reminder. But I will watch it. And, let's just say I fancy my chances.
Ooh.
It might be 1 week that I'm perched atop, but I'll take that.
Well, you have to remember that ultimately it's a marathon, not a sprint. So don't forget you can always end up submitting for the games as they end up coming up. And we're going to have 2 forgotten rounds as well in the future. So if you are interested in joining the wheel, don't be put off that we're already a couple of weeks into the season. You're not that far off. You can still get a good placement on the overall table for the season. So check it out.
Absolutely agreed. And, apart from maybe drawing attention to the fact that you've made it 30 minutes into a fan cast about a thing that you've not even joined in yet, if you are somehow here without doing that, you really should take Mr. Matt's call to action and join him. I can't recommend that.
Do you know what? You said call to action, so you know what we're going to have to do now.
What are we going to have to do now, Mr. Matt?
We're going to have to tell those lovely viewers at home that if you would like to end up staying...
Wait a minute, gentlemen. Hold that thought. I forgot to read out a haiku on the show. Wow. This is a first for me. Sometimes Garlips gets it wrong. We're going to read the haiku now, and I think you'll understand very shortly why it is going to be, appearing the way it is. This is a haiku, a prophetic haiku, from the mouth of Wraithgal. Wraithgal believes he's going to predict the outcome of the wheel this season. Very exciting. Let's read the haiku together, shall we? Before season's end, Garlips will be defeated. Kylo promises. Well, far be it from me to decide how this particular prophetic haiku is going to age. However, I have put it on the side of some milk. Wraithgal, I think you might be eating those words. I think you may have stared in the wrong end of the crystal ball, my friend. Any more prophetic haikus from would-be soothsayers, feel free to send them in. And one more thing. Sorry. This goes out specifically to Kyle Orion, known loser. Sorry, gotta get this just right. Kyle Orion, I challenge you to come on our show and engage in a haiku battle. I will hand you your fucking ass, mate. You ever done street haikus? Have you? Have you ever done goddamn street haikus? You know what? I think you're too lily-livered, my friend. How radical can I get this hat? That's pretty radical. So yeah, Kylorian. There's a spot. Step on up. Bring your best battle haikus. We'll have you on the show, my friend. I need to put this to bed. I need to show the world that I will win in all endeavors except the ones that you won in. Everything starting from now is a new Garlips era of victory and winning. If you feel like it, if you feel like you can go toe to toe with the big G, be my guest. Anyway, back to the show. Hi guys.
Tell those lovely viewers at home that if you would like to end up staying up to date with all things Strugglers Wheel, then I would very heavily recommend that you subscribe to the Wheel of Struggle YouTube channel right now. Why don't you check out the Instagram page as well? And I know this is a bit much, but why don't you also do the subscribe on Twitch as well? It would really be awesome. And for right now, on this very video, this video you are watching right now, this very second, I would recommend that you end up hitting that thumbs up if you so fancy. Don't hit the thumbs down, that's not very nice. I mean, it's algorithms shit, but either way. Leave a comment as well, or if you really fancy it, why don't you end up sharing us with your bestest of buddies? And I'm sure they will be confused or disturbed if they don't know what a Wheel of Struggle is. But either way, why don't you do the things? That's my call to action.
I think you should absolutely follow all of those steps. Even if you've done them before, do them again. Except, don't click the subscribe button if you're already subscribed, because I think that unsubscribes you. But I mean, apart from that, you should do all of those things.
Marvellous, marvellous.
And I think Mr. Matt has put it off long enough. I think it's time for our own haikus. Yes, it's Haiku Corner. Haiku.
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 Just fucking hoping you've forgotten it by now.
You cannot escape your obligations.
Fuck's sake, why did I sign that fucking paperwork in blood as well? You're a fucking arsehole, Garlips.
I am, but like I said, 1,000 souls as soon as I can get them to you, okay? That's the deal.
Fair. Right, so who's going first this week on this Haiku Corner?
I do believe it was me last time, so it's you to go first this time.
Alright, again, same rules apply. Alright. No, you don't fucking start now. You don't start laughing now. Before I've even begun, okay? Keep it together.
You're right. Right.
Right.
I mean, I'm taking the thing that you said to me before we started recording and I'm parking it somewhere else in my brain. I'm not expecting anything. I'm open. I'm ready to receive.
I fucking spent hours on this, okay? Literal hours, okay?
I believe it.
Right. Get into the zone.
Yep, I'm there.
Right. Mega Bomberman. Mega Bomberman. Mega Bomberman.
Sorry, wait. Could I have the middle line again?
Mega Bomberman. Mega.
I see. Well, I mean, I can understand now why you're so sick of the word mega.
See, I was building up to it.
Yeah, it was a subtle foreshadowing. This is all scripted. I mean, I'm reading a script right now, so
Yeah,
that kind of gives you an idea of.
It's like that video that you put out the other day for the Struggler's Wheel, that little supplementary episode. That was all scripted. In the script for it, it said, Mr. Matt begins crying now, doesn't listen to instructions, just continues to spin. The bit where you put in subtly, 16-bit raises a finger. Like, chef's kiss, that was done so well.
And he nailed that. I mean, I was writing for both of you when I wrote that scene. I knew that you would be playing the role of Mr. Matt, so I really tried to play to your strengths and your kind of like style, as it were. And it really paid off. I mean, we workshopped that for the entire weekend. We didn't actually get to play any games or talk to each other.
No, it was, 3 weeks of dress-up rehearsals, wasn't it?
I insisted on it because, sometimes people get there and then they think, oh, now I can learn the lines while I'm hit. No, you don't understand the nuance of the scene. You don't understand, the themes on play. And yeah, it's very important that everyone knows that before we arrive. Otherwise, we'd still be there now, Mr. Matt, recording that.
Torture, I imagine, for everyone else involved. Poor sods. Anyways, what is your high... what's the last... Coup?
Are you ready? I will read you my haiku. Mega Bomberman. No, I'm joking.
Yes!
I'm not a plagiarist.
Oh, I thought we reached the same conclusion.
I kind of mentioned him in my own imitable style. Here's the real haiku. That was a fake out or a fakeu, if you will. Little bomber cunt. What possesses him to kill? Oh no, fucked himself.
Well, that was beautiful until, is it his own hand up there, or is it self-fellatio? I mean, what are we talking here?
That's the thing. You've taken it on quite a literal level, which is fine. There's no analysis is the wrong analysis, but yeah, it's actually more kind of metaphorical for his life. Like, he was living his life, he was alive, and now he's fucked it. He's ruined it for himself by sentencing himself to death by trapping himself with his own bomb.
Right, I got you. See, I just...
You appreciate that that's a lot more syllables than fucked himself.
Yeah, I can see why he did the shortening, but it did get a little confusing because I thought he might have been, performing some sort of self-pleasure of some description, Well,
I mean, that's also fun to imagine.
You're picturing it right now, aren't you?
Absolutely. And it's, you know what, I'm not even going to sully it with a Photoshop.
No, you're not going to end up having his, pink gloves turn brown,
No. I mean,
Resist it, Garlips. You want to.
It was right there for a second, you missed it. Yeah, I think, you know what? I think we've had some fun here. We've had some chortles and jokes. But I think it's time to abort from Haiku Corner. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Flush it down. So, Mr. Garlips, what will those lovely wheelers be dealing with for another almost week?
We are going to be playing, and I have not played it yet. Usually by the time we're recording, I've had a look at the next submission. I've maybe even done it myself. I've been avoiding this because it is Mega Bloke Football, or as the Americans will insist on calling it, Mega Man Soccer. I know that this is going to be my least favourite game on the wheel. I mean, it could surprise me, but the murmurings I've been hearing, I've been hearing words like monotonous, joyless, frustrating, tedious. These are the words that I don't really associate with video games in any form, or if I do, they're video games that I don't usually try to play. Do you have any history with Mega Man Soccer at all?
No, surprisingly not. I've not played Mega Man Football at all. Sorry, Mega Bloke Football It's Mega Man Soccer, isn't it, over in the States? I've known of it for quite some time. As an oddity, it's like one of those things where it's like, that's such a weird thing for them to make. Like, who decided that this would be the fusion to make? But then again, I suppose, you know, Mario eventually got a football game and it was really good. So I've got a little bit of hope, because sometimes franchise football games like this can be good. But judging the reactions we've seen already, very worried.
Yeah, I must confess I'm the same. I mean, it's already got a number of hurdles to jump for me, because I don't really play sports games. I don't really play Mega Man games. I have, you know, dabbled here and there on the wheel, but that's pretty much it in terms of my experience. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. But you know what? We will turn up next week and we will make a 45-minute to an hour episode out of it somehow. We will, even if it's just going to be clips of, you know, Z scoring 170 goals in a row or whatever it was. Like, some of these scores are absolutely crazy, and I'm just looking at myself and thinking, can I just get another thing off my chest while we're here?
Okay.
I gather, I mean, we've taken a rough look at the rule set for this. I gather that you can play some, like, preliminary games of some kind to get a feel for the game. And then you play your tournaments, as it were, or, you know, leagues, whatever the fuck it's called. That football. I've heard reports that some gameplay times for this come out way over 5 hours. Mark, man, this was your submission. We're supposed to only make it 5 hours or less, mate.
I think the problem is that Markman ended up thinking that there was no way anyone would end up going over a certain amount. He'd set it for his skill level.
That is true.
And hadn't thought, okay, wait, so if someone figures out that you can just basically keep scoring and scoring and scoring and scoring and scoring, that it's going to go way over an hour for a session. Like, a league is going to take over an hour.
Yeah, actually, that's fair.
I do think this is one of the mistakes of the council. You can't say anything about the council because you're on it, but I can. So it's just
preach, brother, preach.
I think this is one of the ones where the council did make a mistake. I think they should have ended up putting a final timer on this one. Like, you can play as many leagues as you like, but as long as you don't go over 5 hours, then that's it. It's one of those messy ones. That happens every season though. Like, not every single game will end up having the ability to end up being dug into. Like, exploits will appear. Things that were never predictable will appear. It just happens sometimes. But we will discuss that mega bloke more next week on the actual mega bloke football, aka Mega Man Soccer. We will discuss that on next week's episode, because it will be another mega episode.
This will make it will be indeed another mega episode. This makes absolutely no sense to any of you. But maybe I'll go find the clip and I'll put it in just to make sure that you understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Mr. Matt there, in his affectations, the way he tried to remind himself to say the right words, he almost verbatim looked just like a character called Matt Hazard in a game called Eat Lead: The Return of Matt Hazard, where he goes, I'm going to go to the factory.
To start
the warehouse.
Level.
Yeah, that's the one. I'll probably include it just so you can see, but like it...
It's time for me to go to the warehouse.
It was amazing. It was so close.
It's almost as if I played that game way too fucking much. Look! It's right fucking here!
Yeah, there it is!
The disc just flew out because I've got all my Xbox 360 games categorized like this.
It wants you to play it, Mr. Matt. It's flung itself towards the Microsoft Xbox Series X.
It has! Look, here it is! It flew off towards the console.
I love using that redemption in your stream, because every time SausageBot goes, Eat Lead, that's a great game. When are you going to play that, Mr. Matt? While you're like swearing hour 4 of Bomberman.
Yeah.
Like, now it's not the time, SausageBot.
It's almost as if I can predict when things are going to happen like that, you know? Right.
But yeah, moving on, we will be talking about Mega Bloke football next week. And I just want to say, you know, I appreciate the the devil's advocate that you've played there in kind of glossing over maybe the reason why Markman kind of like made that decision. But I will say, Mark, I still hold you personally responsible because you selected this game in the first place. I don't want to play a football game. Yes, this is the Wheel of Struggle, but come on. But you know what? I'm just gonna. The way I see it is, right, and again, this is spoilers for a little bit in the future, but the next game has been spun. And let me just say, if I've got to sit here and eat my fucking greens before I can enjoy the dessert that is that game, then I will sit here and I will eat my fucking greens. But next time, can we please play, I don't know, I'd take horse riding at this point. I'd take maybe even hockey or basketball over football. Please, consider the options next time.
Guys, please, there are good sports games, there are very good sports games, just on a fundamental level of them being a video game, they are fun. FIFA 2011, NHL 94, Super Mario Strikers on the GameCube, incredible sports game. You even like Snowboarder Kids.
Yeah, but see,
that's a sport.
It's a sports game the same way Tony Hawk's is a sports game.
Maybe you need to reevaluate your hatred of all sports games.
Maybe I will, but until that time, it will remain chiseled in stone on the website where it says, Garlips, pluses, survival horror, weaknesses, sports games. I've never hidden it. I've never, I've been out and proud. I don't care for it. But, maybe some miraculous turn of fate will happen and I will enjoy myself while playing Mega Man Soccer. It could happen. I'm
just going to say, if you want to wash the taste of Mega Man football out of your mouth, I would seriously end up playing some Super Mario Strikers or Super Mario Strikers Charged on the various Nintendo platforms, because they are genuinely fun kickabout games. Like the Def Jam basketball games and stuff like that, those are really fun.
Yeah. Or I would take Mario Tennis. Or any tennis game at this point, to be honest.
See,
I like tennis.
I put in the smallest amount of water and your entire hatred of sports games is starting to crumble away and you're going, alright, it's not all sports games, it's just some. Alright, it's just some sports games. Alright.
Okay, yeah, alright. Look, we're just going to move on before I concede defeat, because you've destroyed me with my own logic, and
I've destroyed you.
I've no riposte to that.
I've destroyed you in the marketplace of ideas. I've ended up ruining you with facts. Okay?
You have indeed.
I just hope you're happy, Mr. Garlips.
Patreon.
Yeah? That's good, Mr. Garlips. I don't know what the fuck that was.
I think it's like Ben Shapiro on helium?
Oh, when's he not? Right, anyways. So, I think we should be closing out the episode now, and just telling you again, don't forget to do the like, the share, the subscribe on us, or you can follow Garlips over on the various Garlips related platforms, and we will see you again at some point in the very near future.
Don't forget the Mr. Matt related platforms as well. You should definitely check those out. Also, I am just going to issue a challenge here. I think a lot of you are cowards. You submitted one haiku and you got made fun of and you ran away. Just submit another haiku. I promise this time I will treat it with the respect it deserves. I promise. But bye for now.
Bye for now. I got him.
Every day I'm struggling. Every day I'm struggling.
There are bombs ahead, folks. We are B.
ERB?
ERB.
Your brother's
on my mind today.
Your brother's on your mind. There's too much amber, isn't it?
That fucking amber. Jesus Christ. It's melting my brain.
But yeah, Mega Bloke Soccer. Fuck! I fucked it.
he fucked himself.
Right, but
Mark stanza. Sonic the Hedgehog, What Happened to Jar Jar Binks, Action 52. The next stanza is going to be none compare to Mega Man Soccer, the shit. I hate it. Fucks you.
Sinead O'Connor. Nothing
Sinead-
compares to you. And then it slowly ends up forming into, like, oh, here's the plot. It's like,
Yeah. Well, you know, our audience are lazy fucks, but, you know, maybe it's time they started picking up the slack. They can join the conversation halfway.
they can. Needy.
3, 2, 1.
Clap!
Perfect.
I'm stuck like this now.
Well, anyway, I'll see you next week, Mr. Man.
See you later, Garlips. Bye for now.
How do I unstick you?
I don't know.
Oh no, and the room's filling with helium.
With your mama too. And your daddy. Ooh, stick you.
Daphne and Celeste.
Oh, rest in peace, Daphne and all Celeste.